Hi, my name's Laura Hinton and I am the Chief People Officer at PWC in the UK.
So my name's Awais and I work for PWC in the New Bradford office.
Hi, my name is Nadia and I'm the manager at PWC.
My name is Ashley Mashavave. I am from Zimbabwe and I work at the PWC Nexus Competency Centre.
I am particularly passionate about social mobility, not because it comes with my job title, but it certainly does, but more about my passion from my background and my journey. And I've learned over the years that actually it's really important to our people here at PWC, as well as hopefully beyond, to share some of my journey and hopefully help other people navigate their own journeys through their career.
So I grew up in East London, Tower Hamlets, between the Limehouse and Poplar area. I went to a school called Bishop Challoner Girls' School and I also stayed there for sixth form. I always wanted to have a career in the city, but I had no clue how to get involved with it, even though I lived steps away from Canary Wharf.
So when I got here, I wanted to look for a job and something in my field, because at that time I was just about to qualify, so I really wanted to get into the accounting field. I knew about the Big Four, but I also know that with the Big Four, they have very stringent requirements when it comes to entry, and I didn't have an undergraduate degree. I went straight into a professional qualification.
So I was born in East London, in East Ham, and went to a local school, a comprehensive school, in what would now be called a disadvantaged background. I have to admit that at the time I knew nothing else, I didn't know anything different. So it just felt like a relatively normal upbringing to me. A relatively tough school where aspirations were pretty low actually. I remember a conversation with my career service. I was probably 15 and their advice to me was to think about applying to supermarkets. Now there's absolutely nothing wrong with working in a supermarket, but actually I had different ambitions, I had a different level of aspiration. But that was just not how it was where I grew up and went to school. That was a really important moment for me to focus my mind in terms of, well, what do I want to do? And how am I going to break out of the cycle that was seen as typical for my peers and for my family?
Well, just over 2 years ago I finished my A-levels and I wasn't sure if I wanted to go to university or start working straight away, and I actually had a lot of personal commitments as well. So I'm actually a carer for my grandma. But I had that pressure from my family to go to university straight after completing my A-levels because they thought that's the only way to get into a professional occupation. I thought I wouldn't never have got into it. I thought I'd never have got into a firm like PWC before. And now my parents are convinced as well that you don't have to go to university to get into a good position at work. And the flexibility that I have here as well, everyone's so understanding that I've got caring responsibilities.
So at that time when I got a response from PWC, I was shocked, but also happy at the same time. So I did the assessment and then I got a message that I passed and I was happy. And then the next thing was a phone interview and they explained to me more about the role and it was fantastic. Went through the interview, which was a very interesting experience. Everyone was nice, everyone was smiling. It was just a beautiful environment. And after the interview, when I got the call that I got the job, I was crossing the road in Leeds with my husband and we were on our way somewhere, and then literally we started jumping up and down in the middle of the road like, I got the job at PWC.
As a result of that conversation, I think I got very driven, very focused. I knew that I needed to work hard and I knew that I needed to have a plan in terms of how I would reach a different level of ambition from those people around me potentially. So I ended up going to King's College in London, graduated with a first-class degree in business management and qualified as a chartered accountant. All things that you probably wouldn't expect of somebody from my background. I went through a different route and ended up actually setting up an HR consulting practice. And here at PwC, I have the opportunity to work with our clients around their HR policies, but also think about our own firm and our own people strategy.
I was really privileged in sixth form to have an organisation called the Brokerage City Link come into my sixth form and speak to some of us about opportunities in the city. Through there, that opened my eyes and gave me great connections with people who worked in the City of London, and I was able to get a summer internship in between my college years and my university years at Lloyd's of London. Through that experience, I realised that this is definitely something I wanted to do, and I now had connections in that area to start progressing my career. As I went to university, I studied economics and finance at the University of Southampton and kept coming back to Lloyd's of London to do work experience placements. That gave me more confidence to apply for bigger roles in the city, and I ended up getting a summer internship at PWC through an organisation called SEO London, who also work with young people from underrepresented backgrounds. Through that internship, I realised that this is definitely something I wanted to do, and I got a graduate scheme at PWC. I started that in 2013, and 6 years later, I'm still here today.
People wouldn't think that you can get into a position like this without going to university, and a lot of my friends are now interested in what I do. A lot of them have not even heard of companies like PWC, and it's good to talk about, you know, that you can get into roles like this, and just because if you're from a disadvantaged background, it doesn't mean that you can't work for a company like PWC and you can't work in professional roles.
And some of the lessons that I've learnt is that it's very much around people's potential and talent that should determine where they end up in life, not where they were born and not where they went to school or what their parents did for a living. I've also learnt that it's really important to be authentic, share your story and be who you are. My background makes me very different. I have a different view, I bring a different perspective. But for years, I tried to be like everybody else and didn't want to stand out. But now I appreciate the value of that difference. And that's really my message for everybody else. Celebrate the fact that you're different, celebrate your background, celebrate the perspective that that gives you. And then everybody can reach their full potential, irrespective of their background.
It feels good to be helping other people, and the fact that you have been helped to just have this opportunity, like, wow, I'm here.